All right, Glassholes, this is the second week of the Pint Glass podcast. This is Mike, your host, and we are going to talk about remakes in the beginning and sequels, whether they're necessary or wanted at all. Most movies get them nowadays, and video games often too. Let's start out by asking John. John, what do you think of the latest sequels of everything? Everything needs a sequel now.
I mean, I haven't really watched a lot of the newer stuff, just because I haven't gone to like theaters and stuff. But what I can say, I know my biggest thing that I can stress upon in this segment is the Resident Evil movies.
Okay.
It's just something where they had the formula there. The game was a perfect adaptation of a movie. You could have done it cut and dry, straight from the game to the movie. Fans would have loved it because it would have been a full-length thing. They wouldn't have to worry about the horrible controls that were in the game. They could have just watched it as it happened. And it would have been awesome. And then you just continue it as the games go. No. They just got to make stuff up. Superhuman abilities, ridiculousness. The last one I watched was 4. I didn't even watch the other ones because I was just like, this is insane. This is just silliness. Like, I don't believe like most movie adaptations of games are usually bad. Few and far between. I did like the Silent Hill movies.
Yeah.
Did they follow the games? Not necessarily. But they did a well enough job that you could kind of roll with it.
And I like the first one, definitely, but I felt a little weird about the second one. I don't know if it was my favorite thing in the world.
It kind of mishmashed Silent Hill 3 with just outside stuff. It wasn't exactly... So I'd never played Silent Hill 3 all the way through, but I know most about it because a friend of mine loves Silent Hill, so he, of course, told me all about it. But Silent Hill, the original movie, kind of took 88% Silent Hill 1 and then just took Pyramid Head and put him in there because they're like, we got to have Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
He's the thing of the franchise, even though he's only in one game. And he's very badly animated in that game. But that's my take. On the comic book aspect, I have nothing. So
okay. I mean, because when they're well done, it is really a good thing. So
you mean like the U-Ball movies? Uwe Boll and his great movies?
Probably
like
not him.
Blood Rain?
No. He just... no.
That's right, World. You almost forgot about the Blood Rain movie.
I was trying to be positive, and you made it bad. I was thinking more of... Okay, so recently they redid they made a sequel to Mad Max, which hasn't really been in theaters forever. And I love that movie. It was great.
Good. I liked it.
I think that it was probably one of the best movies of the summer. And, it's just... I think that you have to take a really good paintbrush to some of our, favorite nostalgic things. And maybe it'll make it better. Sometimes it's not really as good, So, yeah. Patrick, do you have any thoughts on this?
I do. Going back to Mad Max, I think Fury Road was something like... I went in with zero expectations. I was like, wow, this is like...
I was terrified
why
it was going to be awful.
Right? Like, everyone
Like
keeps saying this movie is amazing. Even Rotten Tomatoes had it at like a 97% for like weeks at a time. So I finally watched it, and then it all made sense. It had a little bit of everything for almost everybody. You had an incredibly talented cast. You had action. You had a compelling plot in an interesting post-apocalyptic world, taking us back to that world of Mad Max. You have Tom Hardy doing stuff. You have Charlize Theron, who actually beats his ass pretty regularly. So that was great. Another good example, I think people go back to it a lot, are the Dark Knight films. I think Christopher Nolan knows what he's doing. He knows his source material, and he was able to adapt a character that he has a great amount of fidelity to into something that like almost totally suspends disbelief and like grounds Batman in so much fact while still staying true to comic book aesthetic. And there's something to be said for that.
That's a good example.
A very, very bad example, I think, would be Man of Steel.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, get ready.
Welcome back.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, it's back. Superman as a character already isn't all that interesting. Like, he's good looking.
No.
Everybody loves him.
I don't love him.
I don't love him. Like, he's indestructible almost. He always wins. As a character, as a hero, he's just not very interesting. The most interesting part of Superman is Clark Kent, because that's his proper identity. Superman is the mask. Superman is the facade. So,
Yeah.
the reason the Man of Steel film is so bad is that it's too much super and not enough man. Like, it kills Clark Kent before he even becomes a person.
Question about that.
Yes.
Somebody raised their hand.
We're in class. So a question for you.
Answer.
I took it as in the film, he's Clark Kent becoming Superman. I didn't take it as he's Superman trying to be Clark Kent. He's learning. He's finding his suit. He's learning, how to deal with all these powers. He's learning how to fight villains. He's a man becoming Superman. I think look at it in the reverse terms.
You are correct in that he's discovering his past. However, he's also being defined by it. He's being defined by a life that he's never known. He's being defined by, I am an alien, therefore I need to do this. Rather than, I'm a person with powers. What does that mean for me as a person? Does that make sense?
Yes. It's
Indeed.
It's Spider-Man, but essentially Man of Steel is Spider-Man with the Superman suit on.
Kind of. He's rather than be. It makes it seem like Superman, in the film, he's powerful enough, he's omnipotent and omnipresent enough that if he really wanted to, and it seems like it would just be easier for everybody, why doesn't he just take over and police the world himself? And the film almost sort of sets it up for that until the very, very last scene where he's, like, talking to the military guy. So it almost sets it up like he could just take over the world and, like, make it his and rebuild it in his own image of his lost alien super race. He doesn't do that because wholesome Kansas boys don't take over the world.
That's the Clark
It's
Kent
not
part
nice,
of it.
yes, because Clark Kent is who he is, and they only just managed to sneak that in the last, like, 5 minutes of the film, and it was cheap and bogus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they already did that in the game, the fighting game, that they had Superman take over the world. So
Oh dear
they
God.
couldn't make the movie. You can't make movies out of fighting games. Oh wait, yes
you
they
had
can.
What?
As much as
They
I
can also
Wait.
make a game off of the movie.
as much as I love Gods Among Us, there are so many problems I have with that
Let's
game.
not. I just want to mention Street Fighter, the game, the movie, or the movie, the game. Street Fighter, the movie,
The Jean-Claude
game.
Van Damme one?
It was
Yeah.
so good. If you remember what I remember.
I saw when I was 12. It was horrible when I was 12. And I think I any better.
I feel like we should clarify, if you're looking for a carbon copy stereotypical action movie where you don't really care about plot or characters but you want to see people fight each other, this is a great film.
That's why I signed up for it. That's why I like it.
If
great.
you're
What's the
if
Superman
you're looking for
kick-ass in it?
Citizen
No.
Kane, you're in the wrong place.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's, the American super soldier.
He's not American.
But like in the sense of like
In the game, he's
the
American.
need to
John
make
Van
things.
Damme was not American.
Why would they need to make Street Fighter the movie the game? Like why? There's already a
Oh
billion
yes,
Street
that's
Fighter-
right. That's
Yes.
right.
Oh, I remember
The
that. Yeah, it was
movie,
on.
the
It was
game.
on
It was
like
terrible.
Sega CD.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
terrible.
God.
Like it was just like a
Animated gifs
junkie.
of
They
real
were like
people,
Mortal
like Mortal
Kombat,
Kombat.
Street Fighter. Here's a terrible copy.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was that was such a bad game.
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
man.
That was
That-
bad.
Oh,
I love
but
Street Fighter. Well, I don't love it, but
Never played that one.
so we got
good.
all the negativity out of what we hate. Let's roll into something more, kind of more positive, more
Yeah.
funny.
So, we are. Speaking of which, we are going to start talking about our main topic today, the anime review. Fooly Cooly, which we talked about a little bit last week.
Fooly Cooly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they say.
There's the commercial breaks in between segments. So just so you guys know, you don't need to watch now because we got the commercial break line there.
That's your chance to go to the bathroom, grab a snack, get some curry.
Yeah, we're
That's a
gonna
running
start
joke.
talking about this just almost ridiculous anime. It's really good. It's just
It spoke to me in some ways, I must say.
It's one that when you first watch it, you're just like, what in the hell is happening?
Yeah.
This guy, like the first episode, you're like, okay, this seems like generic middle school anime. Guy going to school, he got hit by a Vespa.
Yeah.
And then a
robot
Reichenbacker
comes out of his head. See, it already doesn't make any sense. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, everyone's like, robot, what?
And somebody hits it with a guitar and it stops.
Yeah. He ain't out. He fights no, because you forgot when the robot comes out, he fights a giant hand that also comes out of his head.
Giant hand.
Yeah.
And then
Then
aliens involved.
Then the robot gets hit by a guitar.
then guitar hits robot, becomes nice. And that's the beginning of the story.
We're done for the evening. Thank you for our Fooly Cooly review.
That's it.
That is
Catch
all
you
she
guys
knows.
That's
next
all you
week.
need to know. Guitars, robots.
There's no
but,
secrets,
there's actually a lot of guitars in the show.
Mhm.
The main character, who's the...
Naota.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
He fights with guitars. His alien friend also...
She does fight with guitar. She has her own. She also, Haruha, as she's called.
Haru.
It's Haruha Haruko. Yes, a lot of H's. A lot of H's and A's. Yeah, she fights with her guitar, which also has a the lawnmower starter on the back, so she has to start it up before she hits something.
Yeah.
That part I never really understood, but it's probably just something in there.
I think it's for an aesthetic. It's for it's to show how else do you creatively create wind up artistically. It shows it's a way of having round one ready fight without the
Not the
without
words
the voice.
across the screen.
Yeah,
Without
which
the
I
attractive
thought was
lady
cool.
holding
Begin!
up the sign.
Right? Yeah. There's no ring lady. There's no anything like that.
Yeah.
And the bass that she's using, it's a blue Reichenbacker bass. This is a highly expensive instrument. Even in the U.S. market, that's a $2,000 to $3,000 bass guitar. So I think there's something to be said for that. This is an expensive, high quality instrument.
And that's
All right.
why you're here. You know all of the little things.
So can you give us, Patrick, some of your insights into just the general story right now, and then we'll go a little bit more into detail.
In as far as just the general story, it focuses a lot on Naota and his seemingly complex but little more than mundane life, if that makes any sense. The sort of mundane complexities of being a middle schooler in a fairly weird home situation. His father and grandfather are kind of nuts, and his brother is being wildly successful in America playing baseball.
Yeah.
But it takes that coming of age story and it hypersexualizes it by throwing him into greatness. Some are born great, others have greatness thrust upon them, and Naota is so much definitely the latter.
Yeah.
And it makes for something that is zany as well as dramatic and incredibly poignant at moments where wow, shit just got real.
Yeah, and I just realized after you said the whole because baseball also plays a big thing into the anime. It's a reoccurring thing along with the guitars. They use the guitars. There's one episode where he has to bat a bomb out of the city
with a flying V bass.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they also make a lot of references to his brother's swing. They're they keep saying oh, you're gonna have this, you're gonna be like your brother, and Naota's actually never the one episode where they play baseball. He just doesn't do anything, and everyone's expecting him to be really good, and he's not.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to do it because he's like, I'm in the shadow of my brother. I don't want to do this. I want to do... He's not really sure what he wants to do because he's the younger brother of someone who is famous, and he now has the responsibility of, like, caring for his brother's ex-girlfriend and kind of not telling her that he's like, oh, I got this blonde. Sorry. So he's got to do this and kind of, like, work with her, and then this other girl comes out of nowhere and starts living with him, and then I think just like that's the kind of thing, like that's the coming of age story. He has so many things happening at once, and he just keeps doing amazing things. And the one episode with that spawns the really tall gunman in the cloak, when he's going with Mamimi, and he's like forcing her to do things that like he normally wouldn't do with her, and she's kind of like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
It's kind of like showing like he's got this huge head, like, oh yeah, I'm really big, I can do all this cool stuff now.
Yeah.
And then
I'm famous now. I got robots. I got guitars coming out of my head.
Yeah, I'm saving the city. Let's go do this. And she's like, no, I just want to kind of hang out. And he blows it all up. And then, of course, it doesn't explain it. Like, the robot coming out of his head is more or less like the argument in real life that they would have had. Because now there's this huge conflict of there's this gigantic robot that we have to deal with. Whereas in normal terms, it would have been they just were, like, she would have been like, hey, this isn't how you normally act. What's up? And then they argue it out.
So it's like a literal elephant in the room type of situation.
Yeah, this huge thing bursts out of his head because he's now got a gigantic confidence because Haruha has been telling him, like, he's great and been doing stuff for him. So, yeah. That's my take on that after you mentioned, like, the whole baseball thing, because I kind of forgot about that. And yeah.
Yeah, Haruko really pushes up on that, to use a phrase from... I've been watching a lot of Sons of Anarchy. And the more you watch the series, you realize that it's something between that's how she is, and that's sort of a product of her culture. Because she's done this before, where she finds a person to serve as the portal, portal for these robots in an attempt to find Atomisk, her cosmic, super powerful space pirate boyfriend.
Slash arch nemesis, right?
Slash arch
nemesis. She overall just wanted the power. She didn't want Atomisk. She used it as an example, as like, oh, we gotta free him, and I'm gonna use, and then it'll be fine.
I'll kill him.
Yeah. Well, she never said that, but she needed someone, and I think the best part is when I can't remember his name because it's something weird. The
eyebrow guy.
Yeah.
You might as well just call him the eyebrow.
Yeah.
Eyebrows.
Yeah, eyebrows. Because
something with an A. Amuro, I think is his name. It's something with an A.
If his name is Amuro, that's hilarious.
I like to call him eyebrows.
I think you're actually right, Chris, because it is something with
he
an A.
does have the best eyebrows.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the kind of thing. Like he had at one point done the same thing Naota's doing, but his escape was now he puts on these big eyebrows and he's more manly. So, and then the one episode when they fall off and she gets the tiny slingshot guitar from his head, it just shows like he wasn't that, and she used him and he wasn't what he needed. Yeah. But Naota was a lucky guess and he had it, and yeah, he just had that what she needed. She used him, and then he realized that she was doing something wrong, so he stopped her in the end.
And
but he couldn't fully stop her, of course.
Yeah, he stopped her not through violence, because he could. He becomes super powerful after combining his flying V bass with Atomisk's EB0 to create a guitar that I'm not sure actually exists, because it would weigh like 100 pounds.
Ultimate guitar.
Yeah, the flying V bass is like an impossibly huge instrument, but he stops her by using love. As sort of cheesy as that sounds.
No.
He stops and he says, "I love you." Mm-hmm. He doesn't use a fireball. He doesn't go Super Saiyan.
And he actually turns back into Naota before he says it, because he turns into this like red being after he combines the guitars, and then he flies right in front of her, stops, and then says that, and
I
then
love you. End of fight scene.
Yep, that's basically it. Like, everyone gives up. I mean, we forgot to mention the giant iron that's in the town.
Smoothing out the wrinkles.
Yes. That I still don't understand. You had a pretty good idea.
It was the giant iron. It was. I took that and the whole Medica Mechanica villain plot line. There are only so many ways that you can creatively depict and illustrate taking over the world, and I think giant irons taken over, implemented by aliens to one day smooth out the wrinkles on our minds and take over the world, is a pretty cool, like, that's really interesting. That takes, it sounds like a very basic little thing, but like, anyone can hijack a nuclear weapon and hold the world ransom and do it anyway because James Bond. But I think it takes thought and creative choice to say, we're going to do things slightly differently. We're not just going to take over the world. We're going to take over the world from the inside using giant irons as a metaphor for ironing out the wrinkles on the brain.
So it's more like a form of conformity.
Yes.
Like a
literal mindlessness.
See,
yeah, basically.
Going on that, my take on it, I felt as though, since anything coming out of his head was trying to activate the iron, I felt as though it represents, like, what he could go into in the mundane life of, like, it's just going to be this boring, same thing life. Like, he's just thinking of it, like, these things are now, like, the anger that has come, because most of the time it's spawned by anger.
Yeah.
This anger has come out of his head, and now he's just thinking of, like, the anger's trying to iron out the world, and this is what it's going to be. Because when he goes up there, he makes fun of the adults that are up there, and that he has, like, Haruka, because he comes up and helps her, and he's all smug about it, and that kind of thing. So I think he fears that, like, the mundane life of an adult, and I think that's my take on it. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure the internet's going to
That's really interesting.
firebomb me if I'm wrong. Just carpet bomb something like, you're stupid.
You know the internet. All right,
It's actually
those
a
are
giant
really good points
cross-guard
because
lightsaber.
I was just, I was kind of understanding this is a coming of age story, but it just it's so much weird imagery, and I was more basically focused on the animation. It's very rubbery. It's very weird. It's almost like the Looney Tunes of Japan. Like I kind of
is.
Oh, it gets weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets really, really, really weird.
Especially Robotic Dad.
Yeah.
That's also a weird part.
Yep,
There's
that's
just-
what I get.
I need to go back to that because I had a great note about that, but it was also 3:00 in the morning, and I didn't write it down. I was like, "Oh wow, this makes perfect sense."
And we host the podcast, people. We don't write things down. Pencils are
this
stupid.
is-
I'm surrounded by pens and paper, and didn't write it down.
Writing utensils are dumb. We just talking to a microphone, and that makes us experts.
Exactly. We're just pulling this all out of our ass. Take this with a grain of salt.
But yeah, like, I really, like, that part of that's where it gets kind of, like, confusing because it goes back and forth, like, because now it's as mad as his dad, because supposedly his dad was going after Haruka, and he couldn't have that because can't have that. He can't be going after his chick, even though his chick is Mamimi, but he gets upset, and Eyebrows comes in and kind of questions him, and like, what are you going to do with that baseball bat? It's for playing baseball, not breaking things. And they kind of, it's kind of a weird, like, it keeps going back and forth between what's happening, what's not happening, what's in his head, what's not in his head. And then I'll be all like, he ends up smashing the robot dad, which I think is just in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the things that could happen with his dad. So then, and what Haruka, like, kind of plants with him. That dog
is really pissed off.
The dog already says that our
I
opinions
think
are
the
dumb.
dog disagrees with us.
But I think when he smashes the robot dad, he kind of gets that he gets it out of his head, and then he finds his dad, and his dad's like, no, I would never do that. So.
And I think to go off of the, like, in his head versus reality of Robot Dad, I think part of it is also maybe Haruko trying to mess with him, because this is someone who, as he's trying to get this thing checked out on his head in the first episode, she, like, disguises herself as a nurse. She somehow expertly pervades his life because the people making the rules are making up the rules as they go. So she has these nearly unlimited, seemingly, resources she could very well have a robot dad somewhere. Trying to...
I mean, she's robots out of his head,
Just out of there, yeah. But, in addition, like, part of it, I think, is, Naota being upset that his father is pursuing Haruko because, like, he's attracted to her. Mm-hmm. And part of it is, like, Naota is someone who feels like he can't have, or has almost been denied an identity because of his brother, and because he has to play the parent to his father and grandfather all the time. He has never, or at least in his own mind, he has never actually been a young person. He's only ever been either the person who picks up after his father or his brother's shadow. That's true. Watching his father act like a teenager, essentially, like, right in front of him, it wears on him. And it, like, all those hormones build up and turn into a baseball bat, and he murders his father. Apparently.
Well,
the robot.
Technically. The robot, the imaginary dad, not the actual
But if it
dad.
was him, he would have done it. He didn't know he was a robot.
But yeah, Eyebrows even tells him, like, that he shouldn't do it because that's going to happen, because he knows what Haruko can do. And he tries to tell him, like, hey, you got to not follow her. I did the same thing when I was young, and it led to nothing. We also forgot to press upon the other girl in the story. Don't remember her name.
Oh, God, yeah.
She's the daughter of a government official.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact title.
Naota's classmate.
Yes, and she has an unknown crush on Naota because she never really says it, but she's always pressuring him to be better. Like when she makes him the lead role in the play.
Yeah.
And he finds out, and like he finds out that she changed the voting to make him. And then there's one episode where actually the robot from his head transfers over to her, and then he has to beat her with Curry, another revolving thing, because then the robot has to use the bathroom, and it's hilarious.
Because puns are a thing.
Yes.
Puns play a huge role in this show. And I think in Japanese humor in general, as in English humor too, but I think the pun, like, we love the pun because irony exploded in the last 5 years. In Japanese, the pun is still going strong. Like, the pun is, like, still fairly high humor. And it's, like, it's not loved ironically. It's loved, like, that was great. That was awesome. Like, that's comedy.
Yeah.
More of that.
So I think in closing, in closing of reviewing Fooly Cooly, we're not in the episode yet, don't worry. I know you all are already
There's
bored
more
and
to
asleep.
come.
Yeah. I'd recommend it. It's only 6 episodes. I highly recommend it. It's one of those ones you need to watch at least twice, I think, before you can pick up on the small nuances of it. So I recommend it. Recommend it for me, John B.
Okay. I would also say that it is, just from an animator standpoint, it's a really good reference. It's so odd and weird, and like John said, you should watch it several times. It'll change your life, I guess.
It'll change.
It's pretty good.
Something.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it.
I also recommend it. It takes time.
It does. I still don't know if I like it yet, but I think you should watch it.
It's one of those things where it undoes most anime and most storytelling, especially Western storytelling, stresses dichotomy. It's a one versus the other sort of situation, and this really, really creatively undoes dichotomy. Sometimes it's through vagary, sometimes it's through its own sort of twisted humor, and it's funny. It is hilarious.
Funny. Yeah. And there's great action sequences. It's just really well done, and yeah.
Chris, your opinion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saving the voice.
Oh, okay.
Chris is slightly sick today, so please excuse me. Since we don't have video.
Very loud cough, and that's to let you know that he is truly sick.
He is actually sick.
I'm here. I'm saving the vocal chops for later.
Chris broke the damn microphone.
That's right. Fooly Cooly, it kind of gave me some feels. Like, I identify with it, basically. I think it's like one big chase story, not just like, physical chasing, but emotional chasing. Naruto, he wants, something more. So he wants something more exciting. Mimi wants Naruto and his brother. Haruha, she wants Artemis, and the dad wants Haruha. Everyone's chasing each other, and I think, at the end, there's a point where he says, I love you, to Haruha, but she's like, no, you can't come with me. Yeah. So it's like you have a boy chasing girl, but girl denies boy to chase something else. So it's like, it's heartbreak, it's action, it's funny. I enjoy it very much. The first half clicked with me. It all came together with me in the last 2 episodes, and with the first 4. So as the more you watch it, it comes together on you. Highly recommend it. I'll probably watch it again. I might cry when I'm not on pain meds or drug medication.
All right, so that is 8 thumbs up. That is not copyright infringement right there. We are going to...
Because no one actually gave a thumbs up. Eat it.
Yes, you do not see us doing that, so
does that
don't
mean
sue
we're
us.
allowed to give a 1 up, 1 down if we're like if we're breaking even about
Sure.
No, there has to be 2 middle thumbs. You gotta go all the way or none. And
just like, I like this, but ooh.
It's weird. It's great. Please watch it. Fooly Cooly. That's what we did this week.
How? What's the best way to watch it?
Best way to watch it right now would be Hulu. You don't have to have Hulu Plus, but
Are we getting paid for these promos that we're doing for Hulu?
We're never getting paid for anything.
I wish.
We're helping the internet watch things. Thank you very
I
much.
watched on an unnamed site I shall not name, so it get taken down. But yeah,
No, we don't get paid.
we get paid for Hulu. Hey,
You're welcome for that. That's Hulu. Hulu Plus.
For your free fucking advertising.
You can watch Fooly Cooly on Hulu.
or unnamed
Now
site number 27
online.
is where I watch mine.
Stream it to your Xbox. And,
We're just going.
that's
all
another
out.
one.
We're just going all out.
Never mind. Watch it.
Speaking of Xbox and consoles,
Yes.
me and Mike are gonna do a small review of Fallout 4,
Oh yeah,
which I'm
this
sure.
is like a quarter of the way through review of Fallout 4.
Oh, yeah.
Which is,
I mean, I think we're just really just gonna review gameplay mechanics, graphics,
yeah.
fundamentals of the game, because God knows, I'm sure someone's already beat it. I'm not saying no one's beaten it, but
I don't know how. It's
well, I mean, the storyline is probably easy to get through.
storyline's easy, but you never want to do that in one of these open world games.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just, and especially like it took Skyrim and made it a lot better with the whole base building thing.
Exactly.
You don't necessarily need to do the base building thing. You could just say screw them, do your own thing, wander the wilds and just do your own thing. You don't even need a partner. Like, you can tell them to just beat it. Yeah. Hit the bricks, bro. I'm rolling this with the wastelands myself.
Yeah.
And listen to shitty songs over and over again.
Hey, I like those songs.
I do actually like them. I hate that they use the Wanderer.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big song. Like, when it comes out, it like raises the volume on itself.
So to give a little bit of background story about Fallout in general, if you don't know, and I guess we'll just do the Fallout 4 background story. And spoiler alert, if you
haven't played it yet, we're gonna give you the beginning 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So you are a person in the year 2077. The world is powered by nuclear power now. There are all types of resource wars, and eventually China and America get into a nuclear war. But you and your wife and child get sent to one of the vaults, which are places where you can
it's a
safe haven from nuclear fallout. And this particular one, since anybody who's played that kind of knows that all the vaults are basically social experiments. This one is a test on suspended animation, and you get frozen for 200 years. Over 200 years, you eventually wake up and kind of see your wife and child. Somebody takes your baby and shoots your wife. Spoiler, again.
Well, damn.
That's if you play as a guy. Unless you play as a girl
Yeah,
like
if
me,
you play
because
as
I'm
a
the
guy.
worst.
I didn't play as a girl, but I like playing as a
Always play as a girl. This guy.
I am a
He's the worst.
feminist. But, so, you see your wife get shot, blam. And somebody takes your son, you are then thrust out into mutated...
I think we should change it to you see your significant other get shot.
Oh, there you go. That's a way better way to say it.
It's already too late.
You see your significant other get shot. Please don't yell at us. And you are thrust into the wasteland of Boston, right?
Yeah, we're in Boston.
You're in Boston this
Boston.
time.
Mother
Boston.
of God.
Sorry.
I haven't encountered anyone who has a full-on Boston
No, nobody
accent.
has a Boston accent. It's
I think-
really weird.
No, I think when you get actually into the city, I think
Okay.
there's people who do. I think more of like the
Wanted you water?
tribal people. Because I haven't got to any of them, but I know I saw in the opening video, there's like a fucking baseball clan that has like fucking baseball mitts and shit all over them,
Okay.
like the catchers, like
Huh.
armor, and I was like, oh, really? You have to go up against the goddamn Red Sox in the future? I don't care about the Red
So,
Sox.
yes.
Beat it.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said tribal people, I thought you meant like Boston circa 2015. And I kinda lost my mind inside. I was like, this is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me in the world.
So yeah, they push you out into this world that has been mutated and everybody's dead. Well, most people are dead, you kind of find out. And you're just exploring. There's ghouls and mutated alligators and
Oh.
ants and
I
all
haven't-
types of things.
I haven't encountered a rat ant yet because
I haven't yet. No, I haven't seen a rat ant. I've seen
They're terrifying.
giant mosquitoes,
Oh,
zombie-like people with guns, giant mole rats.
Watching John's reactions are hilarious. By the
oh
way.
no, the blood bugs. Terrifying.
Yeah, I
They're-
wasn't expecting that.
They're huge. Just imagine a gigantic mosquito coming at you.
I have a giant TV and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, so you know, you kind of get thrust into this world, and I would say the gameplay mechanics all very closely mimic Fallout 3. I think the engine is almost exact, but with more detail.
I mean, the only thing different than Fallout 3 is the level up, the perks and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the only thing different.
Yeah, so I
There's-
think they changed the.
There's no skills.
Yeah, there's no skills in the game. You just have to, get better weapons or better.
Yeah, or you're like
skill,
me,
better
and
perks.
you went charisma, and you don't talk to anyone for most of the game. Except for now, I've gotten into a little bit of charisma, but I might be saying it too early because I haven't really explored everywhere.
Yeah.
I just got into the heart of Boston, but starting off with charisma, not the best idea. Pro tip. John Brolax pro tip to you guys. Don't start out with charisma. Level it up later.
It sounds like it could be good. Charisma is used to basically barter or make people do things that you want.
Yes, you
because
can.
you're
You
so
can. You can
charismatic.
do. Yeah, you can influence people a little bit better. The biggest thing it's used for is a perk called local leader, which you can then use to build more things like
Yeah.
shops and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's one of the biggest things about the game that I think a lot of people are really liking
Yeah.
is the base building mechanic. Yes, it can be kind of finicky where you can place
Yeah.
walls, and yes, I want to punch it sometimes because
It's a little hard. It feels like it would be better on PC, but I have it on Xbox One. Or actually PS4, sorry.
No,
You,
No.
oh, okay, never mind.
I want to punch it. I have it on
Alright.
PC. Mike has the console. I have the PC.
Yeah.
I haven't played with mouse and keyboard because I hate mouse and keyboard because
Yeah.
I think it's too easy. But even if I did, placing stuff just kind of
It does feel a little bit wonky.
it's just really the fences. Everything else is fine,
Hmm.
but the finite points of like trying to fence something in, you're like, I don't want to do this.
And it's a huge, gigantic world. I've been playing it for probably 15 times, sneaking up on people and shooting them in the back, and making weapons to do that with. So
crafting weapons and armor is actually a big point in the game as
it's
well.
a really nice point.
They took the Fallout 3, you could craft weapons, but this you can craft each part of the weapon.
Exactly.
And it's really awesome.
You can customize pretty much anything. Well, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I have the most basic weapon in the game, which is a pipe gun, and I have two of them. I have one that's a rifle, and I have one that's a sniper rifle, and I made them completely differently. It's you can do that. You can make it into a submachine gun. You can make it into a pistol that shoots sniper bullets. That's that I don't even know. You could just do whatever you want with it. So
I think the best customization is turning the minigun into a melee weapon.
Yeah, you can put giant spikes and barbed wire all over it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but it's really detailed, and the graphics are way better, and
yeah, I mean it takes everything from Fallout 3 and just makes it better.
Yeah,
there's no the gameplay's still the same. You still got your VAT system. You still can push that and lock on.
Well, the VATS is a little different because instead of actually freezing the game like a superhero, it kind of does it a slow-mo type of thing.
That's right. You're correct.
And you can also put a critical hit in, like a limit system, almost like Final Fantasy type of thing. So once you do enough of it, you build it up, and then you can
explode
somebody.
You can get a free critical, basically, no matter what, which is awesome. I think is a really good adaptation.
It's a good idea.
And I totally forgot that, time does not freeze. It actually still keeps moving. Yeah. So you got to make your decisions quick, which is better because it shouldn't just freeze time.
No, yeah. It almost felt cheap in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
You could kind of stop time and go get a beer or whatever you wanted. and
just kind of sit there and be like, hey, Rad Roach, wait a second. I got to go with this beer.
Exactly.
I'll be back. But I think the biggest frustration a lot of people are having, at least I'm having, is getting goddamn screws. Where the fuck are screws in the fucking future?
There's no Home Depot in
No, there's nothing. I've broken down ovens. I've broken down everything. How the fuck do you make something?
I'm pretty sure they're in fans and
But
I've heard people say that adhesive is the worst thing to find, but I've been finding it just fine.
I haven't had a stockpile of adhesive, but I've been getting it. Screws, I don't know where the fuck they are. Nothing is made with screws.
Me personally, I've done one story mission, and I've just been going into scary haunted houses and killing everything, and then grabbing all the things. I haven't had a problem with building anything with screws or anything. But
yeah, and then the other point of focus is companions, which has always been a problem.
Yeah.
It was I played Fallout New Vegas beginning to end.
Yeah.
I got a companion that was long range. It was great. Dog meat. By God, dog meat gets in your way every 3 seconds of the game.
See, I like dog meat in this one because when he bites somebody's leg and they're on the ground,
I love that.
Just run up and shoot him in the face and you're done.
I love that. That is a great aspect.
That's it.
He will take down people, but when you sneak, he is all up in your way.
No, he's pretty bad sometimes. Yeah.
He just is like, nope. Hey.
He's a dog. It's just
you need to pet him.
I want to do something. I don't know.
I mean, if it's AI as a dog, great. But I haven't gotten any other companions. I'll probably go for the long range because I feel as though they're the better ones.
Yeah.
But overall, the game's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I don't think I've even scratched the surface. I think that it's going to be. I'm going to play it for over 100 hours, definitely, just like all the other Bethesda games. But yeah, it's a good game. Please buy it. It's great.
Yeah. Fallout 4. If you ever want to know, we're promoting Fallout 4. As well as Hulu.
Please pay us.
And Xbox.
Bethesda.
And PS4.
We mentioned you.
Any of you guys want to sponsor us, go right ahead. That'll be great.
We're pretty nice.
We're on PayPal. Our information's out there.
Okay.
So I think I think we should roll into our beer review.
Sure. Beer review today is
I
going
haven't had
to
that
be
yet. Probably need cups and things.
the Southern Tier Warlock.
Yes, this is us opening it. Pardon our
There you
destruction.
go. You can hear it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
an actual beer being
Probably need
opened.
glasses.
sure, if you want to go grab them, we'll
mean-
discuss some stuff.
It's cool.
Oh. I'm black.
All right, so Chris is going to grab us some glasses, and
Sure,
we're
send the
just going to talk
sibling
about
downstairs.
Southern Tier for a little bit.
Uh,
I personally like Southern Tier a lot. They make Pumpkin, which is I want to say the most popular pumpkin beer. This is the time for pumpkin beer, so
Yeah.
please grab there's 40,000 different pumpkin beers, but
I don't recommend pumpkin beers.
yeah, a lot of people don't like pumpkin beers necessarily,
The
but
only, here's I know everyone's gonna say they don't like it because it create I've said it before, it creates this whole hype and people become super beer geeks about it. The problem with pumpkin beers is there's never actually pumpkin taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the spices. It's
Yeah.
the pumpkin pie spice. Me and my buddy used to brew a pumpkin
Mhm.
porter. He tried to put so much pumpkin into it, just pumpkin, canned
Yeah.
pumpkin, just bam. Just doesn't work. There's when you have a pumpkin pie,
Yeah.
you can get that taste because you're using basically pureed pumpkin. You're not really altering it. The problem with making a beer is so much else goes into it that it's hard to just get the raw pumpkin flavor. So most of the time you just experience pumpkin spice for the pie. But I do really enjoy Warlock. Had
Okay.
it before. It's because it's a pumpkin stout. You can get a lot more out of it because it doesn't use a lot of hops.
Okay.
Not saying that every pumpkin beer uses hops, which they don't, but when you make a pumpkin ale, you're just gonna get the spices. I've seen it happen. It's just how it rolls.
Yeah.
I wish people could make a lot better pumpkin beers, but Pumpkin is probably the only one I'll have during that pumpkin season.
Yeah.
And I just think the craze went too high too early.
Well, I think people tried pumpkin and they're like, pumpkin beer, it's the best thing ever. And then they try the 90 billion other ones, and you just kind of okay, this is all right.
It's like with I like winter ales too, but they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of don't like pumpkin because
You get the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the winter to get the winter ales because they're normally better because they use. Chris is arriving with glasses. There's probably going to be a lot of clanging and and stuff.
Good.
Clang, clang, bitch. There you go.
All right.
We have 1 pint glass, 2 whiskey tumblers, and a cartoonishly large mug that I sort of
$2.
Pour some, pass it around. We'll split it out as even as we can.
Pour some. pass
fucking
it.
hot.
Chris is eating his creation of beer bratwurst
Just
and
burned
sauerkraut,
himself.
and he is very upset that
He
he
will
burned
not be
himself.
talking more.
You can have mine. I'll take that.
That's a quarter.
And that's Chris mumbling.
I do it a lot.
He didn't get enough beer. Look at that. No, wait a second.
That's enough.
Well, that was
That's
a
plenty of beer.
shitty pour, but...
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
All right, I guess I got the shitty pour now.
John's beer just got hijacked.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Patrick just got up. Wait. So everyone knows. Chris just did the old switcheroo. Basically, me and Patrick just switched classes. So, everyone,
All right.
this is the Pint Glass Podcast section of Cheers.
Cheers.
Bang, bang. Here's some glasses.
Cheers.
I hope everyone hates that loud clanking.
This is startlingly good. Yeah.
Yeah, Southern Tier does really good beers. So I'm gonna start out by saying it's just it's just a good flavor. You can definitely taste the pumpkin in it and the spices also, which is what John was saying. You don't really get that all the time, and it's a stout too, so it's just very, it's actually pretty smooth for a stout. But yeah, I like it.
The common misconception with stouts, just so everyone knows, I'm the beer geek of the podcast here.
John makes beer, and he knows about beer.
The common misconception of stouts is that, yes, they are dark in color. A lot of the times, yes, heavy in consistency, but not every stout is going to be like pour it down and it's dirt. No, that is not the actual, like, the Irish dry stout. Yes, everyone, Irish dry stout is actually very easy to go down. Not like Guinness. I don't like Guinness. I haven't had an actual Guinness from Ireland, so I don't know, but Irish dry stouts usually go down very easy. They're not very heavy, so it all depends on what is in the beer. If it's going to be a Russian Imperial, look out. Yes, it's going to be heavy and very chocolatey. Stuff like that. Whereas this one is just an Imperial Stout brewed with pumpkin. Is more like, if I can put it up to the light and see through it, it's not that dark.
Yeah, it's not very dark at all.
If I put it up to the light and I can't see through it, you're in for a sipping beer.
Mm-hmm.
But my opinion on Warlock is it's probably my favorite pumpkin beer. It is one of Southern Tier's limited releases, much like Pumpkin, but it's one of their like top tier like releases. Yeah. It has a very good smell to it. Very pumpkin-y smell.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everyone knows, the best way to get a good smell is, yes, like a wine, you swish it around so you get a good head, and then you can smell it a lot better.
Yes, let's be fancy for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
I say, it's a startling
Yes. Very.
My word, this beer is great.
positively constitutional. I say, absolutely corking.
My word.
And just so you know, everyone, no corks were used in this beer. No corks.
What a pumpkin beer. My
Patrick,
God, what an age this is.
Your actual opinion.
The actual opinion, I as someone who my knowledge of alcohol in general is that I like it and I'm good at it. It's for a stout. It is super, maybe not super spicy, but it is much spicier than I was expecting. Even for like the typical pumpkin beer homogeny spectrum, like usually it's like super spicy Yingling are like half of the pumpkin beers out there. It's spicy in the best way possible.
It's very seasonal, I want to say. Like it's just it's fall.
Like spicy while still being palatable, and like I actually enjoy the taste of this, rather than like what I usually do with my alcohol.
It's
just drink it. It's like a tool. You just
drink it to make it stop.
Get it down as fast as you
makes
can.
the feelings go away.
Yep. Because feelings are for yellow bellies.
Would you like to put in an opinion, or shall we go right to our next segment?
Chris, get in there.
He can. He
say
can
several words.
He doesn't have to.
John's killing things. When it comes to beer and drinking, I don't know the fancy terms. I kind of know what I like in a beer. I like it dark. I like it full body. Kind of a nice head on it.
Yeah.
You know, typical date. Hey, we're all adults here.
We're jokes, folks. We got jokes for days.
There ain't no virgin in this room. It's dark. It has a nice flavor to it. Full body beer. I'm a big fan of Guinness. I like a heavy kind of beer, so this is right up my alley. Nice spice flavor to it. I can taste the malt. I think it's thumbs up.
All right.
Or 8 thumbs. How many thumbs are we doing?
8. We're doing
8.
all
No, 8 thumbs up for this beer.
All 8. Get it while I recommend getting it while you can. It's not always available.
Yeah, so it should be going soon because this is when is this? Almost Thanksgiving, so it'll be probably a couple more weeks for the Warlock, and
I'm gonna put in a secret for any of you Pittsburgh people. it's probably going to be a D's for a while because they still have last year's.
Yeah.
So
That's where I went to get this, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
We are literally throwing out sponsorship money for
Exactly.
all of you. If we can
get
get D's, Packs, and Dogs to sponsor this podcast,
hot dogs next week.
you just fucking
I'll
hot
die
dogs.
happy.
You get hot dogs, pizza.
Hot dogs and free beer.
I'll
Oh,
retire
man.
tonight.
Oh man.
Don't forget to shop at D's, which we all love.
Oh, yeah, roll in your shopping cart.
6 packs.
They
hot
have the
dogs.
beer cave, and they will fry your hot dog if you ask them to. So
Yes, they will deep fry
Go
your
for
hot
it.
dog.
If you're not worried about that sort of thing.
I don't care about that.
So I think we're gonna go to.
Yeah, so let's see. We are going to go to the electric chair. Insert sound effect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't.
Not yet.
that's what editing's for. folks.
Yeah.
Um,
You'll hear like a lightning bolt. You
I'm
know.
frying to death and dying.
the Wilhelm scream. Got it.
Exactly. Lightning bolt, Wilhelm scream,
Perfect.
electric chair. So the first one up is Patrick. We are trying to, since this is the beginning of our podcast, we're trying to get everybody to get to know us a little bit better. So we're going to come up with 2 questions for Patrick. These will not be your normal, what's your favorite color questions, but, you know, something more unique.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And I think we're going to. Does everybody have their questions ready?
I got mine. I made them up on the fly. as
All
I
right,
normally do.
that's what we do. We just make things up on the fly. So, John, can you start out with your questions?
All right, Patrick. So, since I am a wrestling fanatic, I will ask you. It's going to be a 2-parter. Those are my 2 questions. It's going to be, if you were a professional wrestler, what would your wrestling name be, and what would your finisher be?
Ooh. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Oh god.
That's a good first question.
I've
by
got
the
to
way.
think about this, mostly because my middle name is Robert, and my last name is Morris, like the university. So I'd probably be the professor.
There you go.
Like, already.
As far as my finisher, I don't know. It probably would be. I have to choose if I want to go to probably be like final exam, something like that. Something like failing grade or like.
The F-bomb.
Yeah, like here.
Oh my God! There it is.
Yes.
The F-bomb. We already got it. Oh.
That's it.
My first match
Now we
is
have to
tomorrow.
do that,
Yeah, just check them out. I forgot the name of the actual independent federation in Pittsburgh. The professor will be there.
need to
and he'll
build
be delivering plenty of F-bombs.
I'm gonna be building 200 pounds of muscle before 7:30 tomorrow night.
Oh.
I'm just under 6 feet tall, and I broke 150 like a week ago.
But don't worry, the F-bomb. It'll
The
get you.
F-bomb, it's coming.
The professor's gonna take you to school.
Oh.
I've been getting emails from Robert Morris University since I had an email account. Just like, hey, you have our name. Happy birthday. Want to apply? Here's the link. Like the day I got accepted to Point Park University, where I did my undergraduate work, the day I got my acceptance letter, I got an email from Robert Morris. The subject line was, "It's not too late to apply." Well, my first, I was like, "Yeah, it is. It is too late. I just got in. I'm good."
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
John, do you want to do your second question, or?
It was a 2-parter.
Oh, that was
It's
two-parter.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was one. It was combined into one.
We're
One
breaking all the
concise
rules.
double question. Oh yeah, that's what I do here. If anyone hasn't noticed, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I just kind of make it up as I go, and people believe me. So I'm waiting for all of the internet firebombs and carpet bombs to come at us in the comments. Just at me, because I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, let's do Chris next, because I'm drinking. So.
Okay. So, Patrick Robert Morris.
Oh god. Damn it.
Do you prefer to enter through the front door, the back door, The attic or the basement?
The hell is the basement?
Answer the question, please, sir.
That sound was me hitting my head on the table.
I feel like I'm confusing the back door and the basement in my head, so like they would be interchangeable almost.
Answer the question, please, sir.
I would have to say, before entering, I'm gonna take my date out somewhere to do something. So I'm more of a get to know the
It's
house.
a gentleman.
Sort of guy.
He wants to, you know.
I'm gonna
I
case
don't know.
the joint before I just try to break in.
Where's this going?
I can read the Tumblr posts. I'm already having nightmares about what's on Tumblr. After this, it's the internet.
It's the firestorms.
God almighty.
Answer the question, please, sir.
I think I did. I just didn't. I gave my answer.
He's gonna.
That was too gentlemanly.
He's gonna look at every entrance and decide which is the best.
Yeah.
After scoping the place out. So, Chris, you can
It depends. It depends on the house.
He likes to check the mail first. Mow the lawn.
Patrick's done. He's been frying the electric chair. We've done it. We've already ruined one of our panelists here. I apologize, folks. But yeah, that's what's happening right now.
Second question.
Second question.
Another one.
Second question.
Let me collect my shit first. Hang on.
Okay, Patrick.
Let's drink more of this fine Southern Tier Warlock that we bought from D's Six Packs and Dogs.
Free advertising.
We like both of those things.
Patrick, if you were a pimp, which one of the panelists would be your top money-making bitch?
Oh god.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Who here make the most money if they go on the street corner? If you
Oh
were the
man,
pimp.
that's a tough one.
And your pimp hand was strong, sir. And who would be your bottom bitch?
Oh, jeez.
How long have you had these in your back pocket?
I watched HBO as a child.
Oh god. I don't know.
Folks, Chris Berry. May only say a couple
I
things.
don't know. I've
but
gotta
they're
say-
dynamite.
I'm pretty high. You know,
Like literally, the temperature in the room is very warm. in here.
It's warm.
So
it's
I don't know what you guys are thinking out there. Mike was just commenting that the room is warm.
Well, like I don't want to use the phrase, and I can't believe I'm saying this anywhere near a microphone, but bottom bitch just because.
We're trying to be feminist.
Yeah, we're
here.
trying to like.
Yeah,
Trying to respect.
Because
It is on the streets, sir.
it's a thing
on
that
the
happens.
streets of Nay.
It is. Have you been to the Hill in downtown Pittsburgh after 12?
I have.
Imagine you're on the streets.
Okay,
It is hoes run rampant.
I'm in my pink suit and my gaiters.
And us three guys are your...
I've got to say, well, like the thing of it is, all of the panelists bring something to the table.
But what trait is going to make the most money out of us? Like you're looking at the dollar here. You gotta make that hard-earned dollar.
I've got to say Chris, just because.
No.
he's got,
Darn it.
he's got.
This is
that,
true.
He's got that aesthetic. He's got the charm. He's got the looks.
I have those DSLs, yes I do.
Oh,
But I'm a hard worker.
I'm not saying everyone wouldn't make money.
All right.
Because as far as I have to
now-
choose secret option number 4 for bottom bitch, there would be no bottom bitch. Everybody has something awesome. John's beard has an elbow. Like, there's money there. Like, there's a market for that. Mike has awesome hair. There's a market for that. There's a demographic for all of these men.
but
Right.
I guess we can go with that.
More importantly,
Okay.
Chris is top bitch.
That's
Fine,
you
whatever.
might might not hear him as often, but he's top bitch here on Pint Guys podcast. So
If you see
I'll be coming up soon.
if you see a
we're gonna make a fucking chart over here.
You'll get
Top
yours.
top bitch every week.
get a bar
Who's
graph.
the top bitch? Who's making the most dollar?
Patrick is a kind and sensitive pimp, and yes, his pimp hand is strong.
I bring in the sponsors of those.
But then I have to seal the deal.
All right.
This is horrifying.
You finish them off.
Mike brings them in.
I finish them off.
Chris does the dirty work. I stand here and babble about nonsense.
It's always been the way.
I do the middle work of just keeping them there. Patrick finds the worst. Mike talks him into it. I stand there and entertain him until Chris is ready. And Chris knocks him down. We got this.
Set him up and knock him down.
Serving number 28.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Out of
All right,
174.
well, let's do my questions.
Mike,
It's going to be a little...
what non-raunchy questions?
A little less, more tame. I want to know, what if you had a favorite drink to just make up on the spot?
Oof. Oh
What
boy.
would it be, and what would the name of that drink be if you just, threw it out to a bartender?
Ooh, if I were able to like fuck something into creation.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would say like a sweetened green tea and chartreuse something.
Oh, geez. What alcohol? Like,
What the
just...
fuck?
Yeah, like chartreuse, green chartreuse is like a little bit anisey. It's a little bit spicy. It's made by monks with some sage and like something like 100,000 spices.
Okay.
I don't exactly know what's in it. I just know that I took a swig of it at my very good friend's house, and she loved it. I was only allowed one swig because it was a $55 bottle, and that's all the
geez.
money in the world to us right now.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like a really good, like not overly sweetened, but just lightly sweetened, really strong green tea with that chartreuse, maybe some sort of citrus to cut that, maybe some sours. I feel like I would call that an emerald mule or something, because it does have a very emerald.
It's a very fancy drink with a horrible name.
I want to answer the second part of the question because I don't know what drink I would make, but I would just want to call something the Dick Punch. The Dick Punch.
The Dick Punch. It's like a...
Because, I mean, you got the Sex on the Beach, the Fuzzy
Yeah.
Neighbor, all those random things, but if you go up to a bar and you just you slam your fist down, you're like, I want the Dick Punch.
Depending on what bar you're in.
Whoa!
Wow.
It doesn't matter what bar you're in.
Oh, yeah, it does.
God, whatever, the Dick Punch.
The Dick
Everybody
Punch,
knows it.
it sounds like one of those drinks that's like the Inception, where it's like 4 different
Yeah.
shots, and you pull a glass and you drink that, and then it turns into a fuzzy navel, and then it turns into a margarita somehow.
Just something that if you walk in, you order it, the first thing you do, it's just gonna be something that's gonna annihilate.
And there's Red Bull too somehow.
Yeah, Red Bull.
So
It's like Red Bull, Kahlua, and like lime absolute.
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Because you get that. Oh, and then like I'm ready to go. We got this now.
You get like the
Yeah,
jitters, the convulsions.
You're
and
on the
then
ground in the fetal position, and then you're like, okay, that was a drink.
Yeah,
Dick Punch.
I got this. All right, let's start really drinking.
Oh my god! But
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
jeez.
I'm not sure if I'm not married to that name for that drink, but some sort of lightly sweetened green tea and chartreuse with something.
Why don't you
Something
call it like
to
the
cut it.
Emerald Fusion?
Emerald fusion. That sounds great.
Fusion.
The emerald something. The chaos emerald.
The Chaos Emerald.
Ah,
That's a way
good
better name.
man, got
Oh,
it.
the fusion's it's a wrestling finisher.
Yes.
There it is.
It's the pile driver.
Bring it
I'm
back.
a wrestling nerd. I know these things.
I like that.
Yes, we have 2 wrestling nerds in the room, so
I like that a lot.
there may be a challenge of wrestling coming up.
So all you bartenders
names?
out there, want to try something? If you have chartreuse to throw around, which if that's the case, good for you. Give it a try. See what you think. I would love to see a finished product of this.
Nice. All right.
Well,
Cool.
I think we're at the closing rambles.
Yeah, I think we're coming to the end. Let's see. So
Patrick,
yeah.
what's your closing ramble?
My closing ramble. That's a great question. In as far as what we're up to next week, I'm actually really excited that we're looking at music. We're going to be looking at the career and works of Ayumi Hamasaki. She's
Oh yeah.
like J-pop sensation, the Madonna. Some would say. Others would have other artists to throw into the mix that are just as accurate.
I would say that she's more of the DMX of J-pop. She,
True,
true. She's great, and
But
don't
she
get me
fell-
wrong.
She fell off hard.
I love DMX. DMX is one of my favorite people of all time. But his music sounds exactly the same as when he first started as right now. He's had a billion albums and, but that's my opinion. We'll get more next week when we talk about Ayumi Hamasaki. Yeah. Anybody else have anything to say about next week?
Any closing rambles?
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say I love you all.
No.
I love what
No.
we're doing here.
Oh, you really don't.
Is there like
No,
a heart
no, I
sound
don't.
effect? Like a...
Boom, boom.
Yes, we're gonna send an actual human heart sound
A
effect.
human
We don't
heart,
we
yeah.
don't care about feels here. We just care about organs.
Like a harp and a... I don't know. Some
A harp and an angel.
sparrows,
I will not be sick next Wednesday. Oh, next Wednesday actually is the day before Thanksgiving.
If we're gonna date this
forgot about
episode.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
We've dated this episode. Just don't worry about
All
it.
the product tie-ins we're doing, all the pen pans being thrown around, I got
Exactly.
confused.
Buy a turkey. Some holidays coming up where you need to eat a turkey. It's great.
I'll be at someone's house.
Rosh
It's gonna be
Hashanah.
hilarious.
Um,
And
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably gonna be very,
my
very
closing ramble is I think we decided prior to the episode that Pint Glass Gaming. I think we're going to open up with a live stream on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
How it's going to roll, what we're going to do, who the hell cares? We're going to drink. We're gonna drop some kind of ball. I might drop a leg drop. So who knows?
Another infusion, perhaps. I go for a pedigree. Pop a power bomb.
We might have a stripper come. We'll see what
Hey.
happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
But
awesome.
That's what you
Nice.
do on New
I
Year's
think
Eve.
New Year's Eve is going to be the breakout of the Pint Glass Gaming, so we can move on to we can have in our challenges gaming that you guys can actually watch and see us, and then we'll review it on the show in a more in-depth way instead of us just getting pissed off at whatever the fuck shitty game we're playing.
Yeah.
Because that's all it's going to be is shitty games. We're never going to be like, I challenge you to play this good game and enjoy it. No, you're going to play this pile of trash.
Obscure games that you buy for $15 at GameStop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill a cat.
So,
Yeah, so nice. Next week, so we will be reviewing some of the work of Ayumi Hamasaki. We will do that. As
that's
far as
pretty
my
much-
ramblling, I just want to say that since we brought up sequels, I'm terrified of Big Trouble in Little China 2. I don't know what's gonna happen. It scares me. It's one of my favorite movies, and I don't know. The Rock is going to be the main character apparently,
Oh, mother
but
of
this is
God.
like the internet, spewing nonsense out into the world. But that's fine. We'll see what happens. I am gonna withhold judgment.
I have faith in the Rock.
Dwayne Johnson.
I have faith in the
Fairy.
Rock too. I love the Rock, but it's just
the
it's
Tooth Fairy.
scary. I don't. Well, the Tooth Fairy
Everyone has to,
and Doom.
dip
know.
down.
Oh, Doom.
Ugh.
I feel like after Mad Max pretty much killed it, we have to postpone judgment now.
I'm not gonna say anything. I want this to be great because I
Right.
watched Big Trouble in Little China 40 times and I know all the words. So just please don't mess this up for me. Yeah. So I think that may be our conclusion this week. Thank you guys for showing up, and we will see you next week with Ayumi Hamasaki. So, all right, see you next week.
I
Bye.
came. Okay, thanks, bye.
Chris
Take
is
these
here.
glass
He's
holes.
sick.
Stay
See
glassy.
you later.
Poodles.